Hey guys, Wolvie here and welcome back to the channel. The usual disclaimer as always. Any opinion here is mine and mine alone. So this is part 3 of the PC building journey. And I wanted to mention certain things I did in between takes 2 and 3. First and foremost, the CPU here, I did an inspection, and then the inspection is involving the pins because there are no bent pins. I can actually use this in the build, so that's like one of the most important things to do once you get yourself your hands on a CPU, regardless if it's new or used. Make sure there's nothing bent, so that way you have a better chance of the computer running once it's all said and done. So I'm going to point certain other aspects out. So for right here where I'm pointing to, that is for the second and the fourth slots. So I actually push these levers back, so that way once I get the RAM in there, it's going to be all good. Now, I'm going to point here. You may not see it too well. So I push this particular lever back for when I get to installing the graphics card. I can hear that satisfying click. Now, I'm going to point here, and this motherboard does have a second NVMe slot. So I removed the heatsink cover for both this slot and the one like towards the bottom of the motherboard. So that way, the NVMe SSD installation is a breeze. So with that being said, in between future installments for this journey is that I'm going to have to cut out certain aspects because filming while recording from a cell phone is not going to be as easy as people would think it is. And it's just a matter of like, is it really worth me risking getting seriously injured, due to trying to film from a cell phone? So without any further delay, we're going to get started. So I'm going to do this. Make sure that's there. And then right over here, let me grab it. So right over here, that's where the arrow is. And then you want to match the arrow on the CPU to where the arrow is on the motherboard. So and you notice here that I am holding it by the edges, and then you could very barely see the arrow on the lower left side of the CPU. So with that, I'm going to insert it where it's supposed to be. Now, because there is a bit of a wiggle, and I want to make sure, okay. So we're good there. Ooh. Close call, folks. So we have all this. So we're going to push the lever down like so. Easy peasy lemon squeezy for me. So now we have the CPU installation all good to go. So the next step I'm going to be doing here is installing the RAM. Now you notice here the way I'm holding it is I'm keeping my bare fingers away from the quote-unquote fingers at the bottom of the RAM. So like I said, I already have slots 2 and 4 already situated. So we're going to hear that click, and that'll let you know it's done correctly. Interesting. That's one very satisfying click. Then we have, make sure it's all 100% lined up. There we go. And now there is the RAM properly seated. All that good stuff. So what we're going to do next, I'm going to bring out the the storage. So it's going to be not all 3 storage drives at the same time. It's going to be this one right here. That's the 980 Pro. That's my boot drive. And my 970 Evo Plus, that's the storage drive. So let me see if I can angle this to where I can show at least. There we go. A little bit nerve-wracking there, folks. The excitement never ends. Now I'm going to bring out back on my wow stick so that way, you know, you guys get to see what's going on. So like I said, for the M.2 screws right here, where my index and thumbs are at, I took the screws off, but the standoffs are still there. So this is going to be a little bit easier than it actually. It's going to look a little easier than it really is. That's one. And I do want to mention, when it comes to certain aspects of the parts, you want to keep your fingers away from the fingers. So there we have it, nice and secure. Now I'm going to bring back this. So this bowl I had a few of my screws in, so that way it makes it a little bit easier for me. So please keep that in mind. So that's one out of two right there. And then, yes, the other one. So there we have it. We have 2 for 2 on the NVMe SSD drives, installed all that good stuff. Now I'm not quite done yet, and that's only because I do need to put these guys back on, and I want to make sure I get these onto the correct spot. Correctly. So we have one of those back on. I can actually remove this from the workstation. Now, like I said, I removed the plastic off of the heatsink, so it's all good. Do double check something real quick. Okay. Make sure we're recording. Now, what I like about this particular wow stick is that it has like a bit of a flashlight utility in it, so that way it helps you see like what you're exactly screwing into place. And then just gotta make sure I can't tighten it anymore, because you do not want to over tighten things, folks. So I may be done with the motherboard setup, but not quite, because right here in the bowl, these are the AM4 standoffs for the cooler. That's gonna be the last thing I'm gonna be doing for part 3 here. And okay, I kind of noticed something here. I think I may have paused this video for a little bit while longer than I anticipated. So yeah, so basically I started, going after the just the standoffs for the CPU cooler, but I'm leaving this open for a little bit while longer because I want to get some thermal paste going, and fortunately I have the item, to go about it. meaning that the thermal paste right here, the Arctic MX4, and a bit of a spatula, so I could do all this stuff right here so it could be evenly applied. So the recommended size, for the thermal paste application should be no bigger than the size of a pea, or a I want to say a thing like a grain of rice. Okay, I see something. Oh, apparently it doesn't want to hold on. There you go. Okay, so that's gonna be about as good as I could get it. I think this is probably the neatest job I've done with applying thermal paste yet, because I don't really see like much excess anywhere, which is perhaps the best I've done thus to date. So now to properly finish this off, I have like a decent amount of thermal paste. It looks to be evenly applied, so we're going to be doing this final one before I finish this video once and for all. Now part 4 will be after I put the entire motherboard into the case, and some of the basic wiring is already done. What I'm also going to be doing beforehand is I'm going to be doing the other part of the CPU cooler right now. But it's not going to be, attaching the pump to the motherboard. So it's going to be very much, if I can get it, it's going to be these fans right over here. So I'm going to put the motherboard to the side. And I got to be extremely careful. And grab the pump where the cooler is, the pump of the cooler. Because what I need to do now is actually attach the fans to the pump, to the radiator. Now another thing I did in advance of, like, in between, parts 2 in this video, is I also did some, like, getting the wires, in the correct spots on the pump. So that way I can at least, like, they see what's going on, hey, you see all this, that sort of thing. Now, if I get this wrong, please feel free to let me know in the comment section. Okay, where is that baggie of screws? Here's scissors real quick. Gosh. Here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I need 8 of the washers. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, once I get this done, I will be finishing up part 3 here. Like I said, in between parts 3 and 4 is going to be me putting the motherboard in, me putting the CPU cooler in, and some basic wiring, which includes the wiring for the cooler itself, as well as the cooler for the controller that's in the case, as well as some of the front panel and audio wiring. And unlike the wild stick, I'm going to be using this once again because it's for me it's like it helps get things in place a lot easier. So, okay, grab this. Just gonna line it up. Okay, so I am going to do this. Okay. And I'm going to do a complete tighten right over here. Like that. Okay. Alright. Okay. Okay. Okay, so it looks like I'm running into some difficulties, folks. Okay. Let me do this real quick. Okay, so I'm back, and it turns out I did some, I had to get creative in the sense of like doing the quote unquote screwing. So I figured out, how to get like some of the stuff in place so far. So that way I can continue to get the CPU and cooler installed, I should say. Bleh. Let me pause this for a moment until I get this done. Okay, I am back again. So I kind of figured out the issue. So although I had these here, unfortunately these were like preventing me from screwing like the fans onto the radiator. So with that, I'm going to continue on with the quote unquote screwing in place process. So I'm going to do it like so. And again, how you go about the CPU cooler is completely up to you, in my personal opinion, because if you don't have an extra set of hands, sometimes you have to separate, the components of the cooler before, like, putting it all together would make the best sense for safety and other reasons. See if I can get this in one go this time. Go. We almost have one completely installed, well, partially installed CPU cooler. And I'm just testing out the fans to be sure. And this is about as good as it's going to get. Let me just put this side down so I can get the other screws in place. And I'm probably going to be bringing out the wow stick once again. Oh yeah, I know where it is. Whew. There we go. 2 more. Okay, there we go. See if I have something in my screw kit. Oh, wait a minute, that is the last one, my bad. Okay, let's get rid of the okay. Not surprised by that at all, if I had to be completely honest. There we go. Rock and roll. That's that on that. So, like I said, once comes part 4, it's gonna be after I put in both parts of, you know, I wouldn't say both parts, both the CPU cooler and the motherboard into the case itself, and then I also have to do some basic wiring before I go any further with this particular project, if you will. So once part 4 begins, you're going to be seeing the case, and I'm going to be I think it's going to be just maybe GPU and or power supply unit installation, but I do need to incorporate as well as the second storage drive here, as well as my Wi-Fi card. So it's going to be some additional installation, but it's like I said, in between it's going to be, you know, putting things into place, as well as me doing some basic wiring off camera. So I'm done with this video. With Wolfie here signing off. I will catch you all on the flip side.